Check this out. This is Super Typhoon Maysak, and that is from 10 years ago, a full decade when this powerful, record-breaking super typhoon rolled across the Western Pacific. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta. I want to break down this storm system so we remember it, because this one was definitely an incredible storm. Maysak formed on March 27th, 2015 as a tropical depression east of Micronesia and quickly intensified. By March 28th, it was named Maysak, the Cambodian word for a type of tree, becoming the fourth named storm system and third typhoon of what would be a very active season. I mean, 3 storms already in late March is pretty incredible. Now, just days later, Maysak was already moving across the Federated States of Micronesia, in its center passing directly over the state of Chuuk on March 29th. At landfall, wind observations were recorded at 94 kilometers per hour, but photos and damage reports indicated winds were likely a lot higher than that, reaching the equivalent of about a Cat 2 or Cat 3 hurricane. And for Chuuk, the impact was devastating. Over 90% of the homes on the island was damaged. 7,000 people were displaced, and essential crops, including bananas and coconuts, were destroyed. A state of emergency was declared on April 1st. Tragically, though, 5 people were killed on Chuuk, and the death toll across Micronesia rose to 9. And then came April 1st, and this was no joke. Maysak reached its peak intensity with sustained winds of 215 kilometers per hour, gusting well over 300. The central pressure dropped down to 905 hectopascals, making it the strongest typhoon ever recorded prior to April in the Western Pacific at the time. You can see here these stunning images from astronaut Samantha Crisforte, hope I'm saying that right, aboard the International Space Station, captures the typhoon near its peak. Now, unfortunately, that image wasn't taken over open ocean. The storm was passing right over the remote atolls of Fais in Ulithi, north of Yap, where in Ulithi, nearly every structure was destroyed. All crops were lost, while thankfully no casualties were reported. The recovery would be long and difficult for that island. It was estimated that the islands would need up to a year to recover fully, in fact, from saltwater contamination caused by the storm surge before crops could grow again. And remember, all this taking place as that storm raged towards the south of Guam. Thankfully, not impacting Guam and Saipan directly, but they did get some of those outer rain bands as it kicked on by. Now, on April 2nd, Maysak did begin to weaken. Drier air and vertical wind shear from the west started to tear to its core as the storm approached the Philippines, where it was no longer the super typhoon it once was. Thankfully, because if it hit the Philippines at its peak strength, we probably would have had damage rivaling what happened with Haiyan, also known as Yolanda, in the Philippines. But still, they did put some warnings out for it. Bagasa issued warnings across eastern Luzon and eastern Visayas for heavy surf and landslides, and flooding, of course, as well, especially with millions traveling during the Easter holiday. The last thing anybody was expecting on Easter weekend, of course, was a typhoon. So, fortunately, by the time this did make landfall, Maysak, which was at the time locally known as Chedeng, had weakened into a minimal tropical system. There was no fatalities or serious damage reported, and only some minor flooding in parts of Luzon. But make no mistake, Super Typhoon Maysak did leave its mark. From devastating Micronesia to breaking early season records, it remains one of the most unforgettable storms in the modern Pacific history because of its early formation and just how strong it got. After forming on March 27th, 2015, with that peak intensity on April 1st, of 215 kilometers per hour, gusts much, much higher. Some of the worst hit areas, of course, Chuuk, Ulithi, with 9 casualties all across Micronesia, and the Philippines even being impacted as well, with the storm peaking towards the south of Guam. So, were you impacted by Super Typhoon Maysak in 2015? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you like these type of updates, let me know as well. I always appreciate your feedback and some of your comments and your experiences. And maybe let me know what you would like to learn about next here in the Western Pacific. I'm meteorologist Robert Speta, and as always, Stay safe out there, friends. Do you hate doing your taxes? Do you struggle figuring out what the law is and money management overseas?
I wish there was an easier way.
Well, FrontrunnerFinancial.com is your choice if this falls into your category. They're an international-based group of American accountants. They're based in Manila, and they're qualified to give you the best information where you are for those international finances. I wish I had these guys when I lived in Tokyo. Each year, it was a struggle. Where I needed to put money, what I needed to do. FrontrunnerFinancial.com. Be sure to check them out and let them know we sent them your way.